I'm here with Cheryl Boglioli, and she has brought some sculptures that I'm telling you, Cheryl, these blew me away.
Thank you.
They're absolutely amazing, and I had been wondering if they were like polymer or stone or what the heck.
Well, it's basically we're making our own stone polymer mix in much of a way.
That is so cool. Let's get
is.
started.
All right, well, the important thing to know is that most sculptures, the beginning of the sculpture is the most important part, so your base. So these bases started off, I have this little metal stand here, and to create the one that you see here with the little wide, flat bottom, I just used some polystyrene. You can get this anywhere, and I just kind of cut it, circle in half, and just kind of tapered off the edges with a sharp knife, taped them together.
So this is just regular, like nothing special.
Yeah.
It's just giving you the basic shape.
It's just giving us the basic shape. So you can kind of shape this however you want. You can see on this other one here that I actually used a ball to make that one much rounder. So just a little ball. So once we have that, now we can start creating our face with it. So I have a little cheat here that I already have a bisque head that's already made up, so I don't have to worry about that. And it's quite easy just to add this to it. So we're going to use something else we have around the house, our aluminum foil. And I'm just going to use the aluminum foil to start wrapping around to create the shoulders. And you just kind of press it onto.
Ooh, her skirt's slipping down. Can I be a friend and help you out? So I was going to say, I'm going to be a personal clamp for you.
And then we're just going to use some masking tape, and you can use masking tape to start holding it in place.
So these are really like very easy to find supplies.
They are. I mean, you've got some of these things, you can get them at a local craft store or maybe even your kitchen pantry. That's where the aluminum foil came from.
But you're getting your armature ready for your sculpture.
Exactly. And we could take some tape and just kind of put it underneath so it doesn't slide down anymore.
I love that.
There we go.
Easy solutions.
Now, that same piece of aluminum foil is this perfect length that you're going to have in your house to create a set of arms. So we have these little hands here that we're going to put in. Now with the hands, make sure thumbs are up.
Oh, there's a right and a wrong.
Right, you got a right and a left one. So make sure thumbs are up and just kind of wrap around the wrist, and you'll put it around. And
now she's magically got arms.
Right.
And again, so like I assume you keep using tape and you keep using other things to get it in there. Take your time with the armature because like you said, it's the most important part because once that is done and all taped and tinfoil together. Now, this obviously doesn't look like that, and that's because?
That's because after I taped it all up, I just added a little paint on it, and the paint is paint that I made using our same textile medium with a little bit of our clay to make this soupy mixture here. And so this is going to also act as my adhesive. So once I put this on across the whole piece, then my clay that I'm going to create next is going to stick to this much easier.
So one of the things that you're trying to do, I assume, is that it's sort of temporarily held together with masking tape and stuff like that.
Correct.
And this is just a more permanent way of making sure that everything's together, along with blending all those seams. In a funny way, the places where I see the masking tape like looped around her here actually start to look like clothing to me. It almost takes on a fabric-like presentation.
Exactly, and you can use it and the aluminum foil to build whatever shapes that you want to do. So if you want to create a rounder tummy or fuller hips or breast and buttocks, you can do that with the aluminum foil and the masking tape.
So cool.
Yes.
Now, did you pick this green color because you have already chosen the other colors that are going to go on it and some of this is going to show through?
Yes, I'm using, and I just chose the colors today. I'm using this verdigris green and I'm using the yellow ochre, and I'm going to use that to create
kind of fall colors, actually.
Fall colors, but they're very rustic at the same time. And another reason why you want to paint this is because when we create the clay, we create the clay much thicker. So I'm going to add even more of the clay powder in the same mixture so that we can start creating this clay.
Basically, you've taken the paint or some thinner version of the paint,
The
right?
medium.
Yeah, okay, the textile medium. And you're then adding the clay powder into it to create this kind of dough consistency.
Yes, so you can play with
Yay.
one.
Whoop, we're stuck together.
Stuck together, get it?
So how do you know that you have it at the right consistency?
When it's not sticking so much
that
anymore.
sticking that happened for us means that we don't have it there.
So just dip it into the powder
really?
a little bit.
Into the container?
Yeah, just dip it right in there.
Okay,
just,
here I go.
Just like you would like bread dough or something.
This is so funny, like you think I actually know how to make bread. I know how to eat bread. I'm not sure I know how to make it.
All right. So once you have your clay made, the thicker the clay is, as this dries, this has a great tendency to create this wonderful cracks that you see. And so by painting our base first, as it cracks, you won't be showing the plastic underneath or the masking tape or the aluminum foil or anything else. The color will actually be what's peeking through those little cracks.
Oh, how do you get the cracks?
That depends upon how thick that you create your clay.
Okay.
So as we put this on, the thicker it is, the thicker that it's going, the bigger your cracks are going to be.
Okay. So you're gonna add some of, I assume, ooh, what's that?
All right, so I have some rope here. So once you get these little shapes going, you can actually take something else that you have around the house and use this to just kind of press in there. And see how we're starting to get this texture?
Oh, I see. You're adding some texture to her.
Correct.
And obviously, that's also how you can get all kinds of cool stuff like indents and shapes and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes. So when I start adding the clay to the top and creating here, this is where that we can come in and I can continue to add more texture to it. So I could take even a fork and create little pleats and just kind of put them right in there.
How fun.
Or you were asking about the little stamps.
Yes, can I use a stamp?
So you can actually just push a stamp.
Okay.
And because it's, this one's a little bit thicker consistency, so the stamp should just release from it, the rubber stamp.
So I didn't need to coat this in any way. Oops, I've gotten the stamp stuck in there. Oh, no, I haven't. There you go. It's given us a little bit of texture.
Give it a little push. Yeah,
I see. I was pushing with all of my strength.
No,
so, Cheryl, will you put a little more clay on here so I can see how you lay it out? Do you always work in these little small pieces?
I do, because you want to be able to see what you're doing. And so you can actually take and use your imagination here to create a blouse, to create a collar. So if you wanted to create a collar, you could actually just kind of shape it.
You do sort of a snake. So a lot of traditional clay molding techniques work, of course, when you make your own clay. That's amazing how much that actually looks like a shawl. And then, of course, if I may, because I like this, I'm just going to stick it in there. Now, how much working time do you have with this before it hardens? Can you play with this all day? Or is this the kind of thing where you got like an hour or so?
It really depends upon the temperatures that you have that are around you. The hotter it is, the drier it is, the quicker this is going to dry. But you actually have a couple of hours of playtime here. And if you have some left over, you can just wrap it up with saran plastic wrap and then just save it and work with it later also.
Very cool. Now, how did you get the crackles in all of this, and how do you really finish it off? Because it looks very almost rusted or something.
It has a patina to it that we've added. So if you can hand me that little doll there.
Oh, I get to touch it.
Yes.
It has wonderful texture.
See, and once it's all there, so she's on her base, she's not sliding anywhere. So we added some of those little balls that are in here. We pressed little ideas. You can see the little flower stencil, the stamp that's in that one there. And the rope you can see around the legs. So as it dries, it starts giving this crackled look that you can see here. And then I add the walnut ink, and so we can just kind of spray that on.
I see, and it gives it a wonderful patina.
That's
Thank you, Cheryl.